The Enlightenment in Simple Living Institute presents Dr. Dorina Rode on scientific validation.
Hi, welcome to the Enlightenment in Simple Living Institute, and I want to talk a little bit today about evidence-based practices. Basically the scientific validation of using an herb, a drug, or even a therapeutic practice. There's been a lot of hype in the last couple of decades about everything being scientifically validated as if anything else is rubbish. And if you believe that the only drug or practice or herb that is valid or useful is one that's been scientifically validated, then you're buying into a huge amount of limitation. In fact, you're doing your clientele an incredible disservice. So I want to talk a little bit about what science is and how scientific validation, the limitations of that. So if we imagine that all the information that's possible could be encompassed in a huge circle. Everything that is in this ball. And if we wanted to look at what scientific truth can offer us, we might see little dots here and there. You know, you've got all this truth, but there's only very limited amounts of information that's scientific. Is it possible to get a scientific perspective on the huge ball? No, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough resources, there's not enough energy. The scientific way of testing things and investigating things involves systematically looking at things and reducing things down to very, very simple questions. And typically in a real world situation, things are not so simple. We are not being able to reduce things down to really small little questions. So for instance, we might be looking at a question like, oh, I've got hot flashes, what's the best way of getting rid of hot flashes? And that's a good question, but that's not a scientific question. You have to actually pick something and then reduce it down even slower. So if we pick an herb like black cohosh, that's not good enough. We need to pick a specific extract of black cohosh. Then we need to pick a specific population. So maybe it's someone who's got hot flashes because they had a surgical menopause, they had a hysterectomy. Or maybe it's someone who's had a hot flash because they're going through natural menopause. So these are all considerations. They're going to respond differently to this herb. So all of a sudden we're even getting narrower and narrower till we get to, like I was saying, those little teeny points, which is what science can give us. They can't give us big picture. They can't tell us what to use for a hot flash. They can tell us what works for a specific substance given at a specific dose to a specific population. And a lot of times that research neglects things like, what was the ethnicity of that population? Do you think vegetarians might respond differently to substances than people who are eating a wide variety, omnivores? Possibly. Maybe we want to look at those populations different. We're getting expensive now. We can't do a full study on this group and then another full study on this group. So usually it matches more of the mainstream, while a lot of us are culturally not very mainstream. So we're going to have a different response to a substance than perhaps the research suggests. This is just the beginning limitation of scientific validation. The fact that we just don't have enough information, and the information we have is very specific and limited. Beyond that, we also see that even within that limited information, we have flawed research. And flawed research, especially in the realm of herbal medicine, involves people not identifying the plant correctly, people doing research on the wrong part of the plant, people doing research that's not reproducible, or only doing it once. So you would need to do it more than once to actually show an effect. There's a wide variety. Natural products vary a lot, so even if the research is good and shows an effect, you might not have the same effect based on the fact that the herb that they used is different this season. Strawberries, sometimes they taste really good, other times they don't. They always seem to look good, but whatever, the sugar level changes, and you don't know till you bite into them if it's different. Same thing with some herbs. They might look fine, but if you test them, there's going to be a wide variety of variation within natural products. That's just how it is. So how do you know what's actually going to work? Is it scientific validation? Well, the study said it would work. Oh, the study wasn't on that exact pill I've got right in my hand. The study said, hey, it's going to work, but oh, that wasn't on me. It was on somebody else. So really, when you're looking at picking a therapy or a drug or an herb to work with you, you need to ask yourself. I think we have a better connection and understanding. We've been shutting it down by focusing on science, but we actually do have all the answers within us. We can intuitively know what's the right thing to do. And most people, from whatever point of view, seem to instinctively find, if they're asking, hey, what's going to help me, they'll instinctively find the right therapy. It's as simple as that. And if they don't get too stuck on it looking a certain way, it being scientifically validated, see, those are going to limit your ability to choose something that's not scientifically validated, which might be more effective. So if you'd like to learn more, you can come to my blog. I've got a 5-part series on the scientific validation of herbs, and you can read a little bit more about the details. And thank you for listening. This is Dorina, Dr. Dorina Road at the Enlightenment and Simple Living Institute. Tessely.org is the blog. Thanks. Bye.